There's a fascinating study they did on police interrogations. They took a whole bunch of random police interrogations and they separated them based on only one variable. And the one variable was where they put the camera during the interrogation. In one case, the camera was essentially looking at the suspect. So you could see the back of the police officer's head here, but mostly the camera was focused on the suspect. The other camera placement was the two talking to each other. The camera was placed off to the side. So the police was here, the suspect was here, or the police was here and the suspect was here. And so they got a lot of random people to participate in this study, and they picked one interrogation at random, direct looking or side by side. And then they had them watch the interrogation for 10 minutes. And then they asked the person that watched the video, do you think this person is guilty or do you think this person is innocent? And the shocking truth is that when they were looking at the suspect directly, way more than half of the people assumed he was guilty. But when they were looking at the people talking side by side, way less than 50% assumed he was not guilty, simply by where the camera was placed. And they believe that this is because the focus of the conversation is believed to be causally related to the flavor of the conversation. The focus of any conversation, the visual focus of the conversation, is believed to be causally connected, or we assume it's causally connected on a subconscious level to the flavor of the communication. So when people are looking directly at a suspect, and the flavor of the conversation is whether or not he's guilty, because this is a police interrogation and the focus is on this person, we assume this person's guilty. Whereas if it's side by side, the cop's here, the person's over here, the focus is on both of them. The assumption is that he's not guilty. Now this is horrible because a lot of times police extract false confessions from people. And they're really false. And then later they recant their confessions, but the jury looks at these confessions, the video of the confessions, the judge looks at the video of these confessions, and if the video is looking directly at the guy, they won't believe it's a false confession. But if they're side by side, they will believe it's a false confession. So the takeaway for this is, if you're ever in a police interrogation, make sure they put the camera off to the side so you're talking to the cop and the camera's not looking at you. But on a deeper level, if you want to use this idea that the focus of the conversation is assumed to be causally related to the flavor of the conversation, this is brilliant. This is a brilliant insight to be able to create charisma. Because most people think if you want to become a charismatic person, if you want to be perceived as being charismatic, you need to deliver charisma to your conversational partner. You need to deliver charisma through your gestures. You need to deliver charisma through your facial expressions. You need to deliver charisma through your vocal tonality. You need to deliver charisma by what you talk about. But understanding that the focus of the conversation is assumed to be, or will be assumed to be, causally related to the person you're looking at and the flavor of the conversation, you don't need to do that to become charismatic. All you need to do is make the other person feel good. And you can do that simply by asking questions. You can do that if you're an introvert. You can be perceived as extremely charismatic if you are a shy, wallflower introvert, because all you have to do is ask questions. Ask questions about their greatest dreams. Ask questions about their greatest successes. Ask questions that presuppose they will achieve their greatest dreams. Ask questions that presuppose that they are on the path to greatness. Ask questions that presuppose memories of fantastic successes in their past, and they will feel fantastic. And because you will be the focus of the conversation, because they will feel these good feelings while looking at you, they will assume that you are the cause of these good feelings. And that will mean that they will assume you subconsciously, they will assume subconsciously that you are an extremely charismatic person. And that's how you can make yourself seem incredibly charismatic, simply by asking questions, by being completely laid back, by being completely reserved. Just ask simple questions that expand their desire maps. Ask simple questions to expand their success maps. Ask simple questions to expand what they like about themselves and build those images up in their head as big and bright as you can, and you will be perceived as a fantastically charismatic person. It's very, very easy. It's very, very enjoyable. So try this and see how well it works. If you'd like to learn more, check out the links below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time.